Hey everyone, welcome to the Roadshow. Today I've got Graham with me. Graham came on the Getaway Canning Stock Route trip with me. We went with the Getaway Four-Wheel Drive Club, had a ball, we learnt a lot, and what I'm doing in this third series, Big Tips for Big Trips, is just sharing with you the kinds of things we learned and the kinds of things we did that worked and didn't work in prepping for that trip. But this trip you prep for could be any trip. It is a little bit focused on desert country, but if you're going through other kind of country, just think about that. What would you need? You know, obviously if you're going through snow country, you might need snow chains. Okay, so over to Graham.
We had a very experienced canning stock route traveller organising the trip for us. He gave lots of insights, lots of lists of preparation, and at the forward planning meetings really set the stage as to what people could expect on the trip. Having said that though, walked Mr. Google a lot to look at what we could expect out there, and the Canning Stock Route Facebook page. Trolled through that, and that gave lots and lots of useful information about experiences that other people had and the sort of things to watch out for and prepare for. My working life has been as a geologist, and we've lived the last 30-40 years in various West Australian and other Australian state rural situations. So we've had the advantage of being able to get out on weekends and things like that into that sort of country. So we've always had a four-wheel drive over that last 30 years, and mixing with station people and things like that, you pick up a lot of useful information about what you should and shouldn't do in that country. My wife Denise came with us. We basically are a team when it comes to the way we carry out the trip. There was a bigger team involved as well, the 6 vehicles that were on the trip, and the planning meetings that we had before the trip, that became like an extended family as well. We've always had things like the Radiator River, Canning Stock Route, and some of these more remote areas on our list, but have never really felt confident, even with our experience background, to tackle those by ourselves, because we know that things go wrong. So that's why one of the reasons we've joined the Getaway Four-Wheel Drive Club, hoping that we would have the ability to go with a larger group, and therefore it becomes safer, easier, and more interesting in fact. It's a 1995 80 series Land Cruiser. It was originally bought when I was a geologist, and I was using it as a work vehicle, contracting, and basically I know that vehicle pretty well inside and out, and as a consequence feel very confident about what it can and can't do. Having said that though, we get it serviced regularly as per the service book, and we've always had a policy of replacing things before they break. We are fully aware before we started that particular trip that you are at your own recognizance out there, and what I mean by that is something goes wrong, you have to write it yourself. It wouldn't matter how much insurance you've got around the place. If you had a motor fail completely, and you had to recover the vehicle, I've heard some horror stories about the dollars involved in getting someone out there to actually recover a vehicle, and figures of $15,000 to $25,000 to recover a vehicle, and our vehicle is worth $12,000–$14,000. So we weren't really all that considered, worried about that side of things. We purchased a bladder that goes between the front seat and the back seat, which took 40 litres of water, so that was down low in the car. We took the back seat out. I built a wooden box arrangement that allowed us to store another 2 20-litre jerry cans of water in the side of that. we bit the bullet and did something we'd wanted to do for a while. We put a long-range tank into the Land Cruiser. The normal things like fan belts, radiator hoses, spare globes for headlights, fuses, the mainstay of things that most people take. But I then also have radiator stop leak, some what they call Chemi World. It's a epoxy two-part thing you mix together and you can put things back together. Some various other fixings, epoxies of one type or another, but also fencing wire, a couple of lengths of fencing wire, a couple of pieces of threaded rod, a couple of dozen extra bolts and nuts. There is a fair bit of good water along the Canning Stock Route, but that does vary year to year depending on how good the winter was and how many camels have fallen down wells and polluted water and things like that. We like to plan on around 2 to 3 litres each a day, drinking and cooking, etc. So we initially set off with close to 120 litres of water in total. By the time we'd hit the start of the Canning Stock Route, that was probably down to 80 or 90 litres. And we found that by the end of the Canning Stock Route, when we were at North Pool, we had probably about 35 litres or so left. So along the Canning Stock Route, we'd use 45, maybe 50 litres over a period of 17 days. People in the group took the view that the water in the wells is good, and I'm aware one pair in the group only had 25 to 30 odd litres of water with them, but at each well we came to, they would collect more. They would treat it more as grey water and use it for washing up and things like that, but boil it if they consumed it or cooked with it or whatever. The best information I found was on the Canning Stock Route page, where people with similar vehicles to what I was taking posted up what their fuel usage was. And most of them said, if you plan for about 50% extra fuel usage above what you normally use, you should be pretty right. And that's pretty close to what our experience was for the trip. So,
wow, great tips there, Graham. Thank you very much. Graham's got a lot to share, so I've divvied it up so the videos are not too long. So that's the first part. The second part will be coming next Sunday. In between, I've got a bonus video on fuel tank failures. So don't miss that. That'll be uploaded Wednesday. All right, if you like the video, please give me a thumbs up. Put your comments below. Love to hear what you guys know. Anything you can share, it's always good. Subscribe here and hope to see you out there. Bye-bye.